have another Lorcana gameplay testing session. Today it's going to be some live gameplay of me playing my steel control deck on some Pixelborn ladders. So here we go. I'm going to start by inking a Kun Matata and passing. My opponent draws. So my thought process, so they're on steel. So they're probably on steel yellow because that's kind of running rampant right now. Steel green, kind of interesting. So they already went first, they inked a card. I must have missed that while doing some editing in the back. I got the Captain Hook. I'm gonna ink him. Then I can easily play my challenger Eric and pass. So he draws, put him at nice 6 cards in hand. So my thought process in this matchup is, since the steel cards are very aggro-ish, I'm gonna have to be a little bit aggressive. So the Tinkerbell's gonna be very important. The Simba's not gonna be super important unless if he has evasive guys, but like he's probably not on that. So he doesn't stick another guy, which shows that his hand probably has a lot of high drops. So I can take advantage of this by inking and then playing a baby Tinkerbell, which can pose a huge threat for later with the large Tinkerbell. And I'll just discard the Surfer Stitch because I can always add back with Hades. And I'll just pass turn from here. Ooh, so gonna make this full screen for you guys. So he draws. He has 6 cards, so we're tied in card advantage, but he's going to have to ink, which is going to give me a nice +1 here. So I'm going to be ahead on card advantage. My big tank is going to do huge damage next turn, and even if he doesn't, then my Rapunzel can do decent stuff. Okay, so he fires the cannons to deal with the Eric, which is fine, because the Eric dealt with a card, discarded a card, and then +1. So, or I think it neutraled actually. So he inks a Mad Hatter. Let's see if he'll play a 3-drop, and he doesn't. That's crazy. So we're going to play the aerial here. See if we can get a Kun Matata. And we don't. We get Be Our Guest, which is fine. We have 2 of them. So we can just ink the one we just added to our hand so they don't know the rest of the cards in our hand. And then we can probably draw a card with Tinkerbell. And then we can discard large Simba. Rather have that in the graveyard than in the inkwell for potential Hades plays later. So we're decently ahead of them in card advantage, which is really good in the aggro matchup, because aggro is all about like being as fast as possible, and the fact that we've essentially gotten rid of their speed is very good. Like the steel cards are a little bit controlling, but like it's not going to do as much. We draw a Captain Hook, which is whatever, nothing super crazy. We can play the Captain Hook. It's an out for the Flynn Rider. We can use Be Our Guest to try to grab into something. I guess a Surfer Stitch for potential like future draw plays. And then I can just start questing. Then passing. Like, the Tinkerbell would be crazy if he went more wide, but he didn't really go wide here. So, inks a Simba. Like, maybe a Genie would be good. No, Cusco. Yeah, so we're doing okay. So he's going to do Flynn Rider. I draw an Eric. So from here, we're going to Captain Hook into the Flynn. Probably just discard the Tinkerbell. Don't really need that as of right now. Then we can summon the Rapunzel. Draw a card with Rapunzel. Then we can ink the Eric. Pass. We probably should have quested the Tinkerbell, but it is what it is. I'd rather not put it in harm's way. So they play a Hans, which is fine. Like, the Smash can deal with the Hans. So my board really here, if he decides to... Wow, that's a great Fire the Cannons. So that does a lot. Use the Cusco's free. Hook just goes right into ink. Don't really need that. The Surfer Stitch can come down to draw us 2 cards. Draw Rapunzel, which is solid, so we can just whack Rapunzel, whack her into it, and we'll just pass. So they're going to quest for 6, which is going to put them at, I think, 13. Yeah. It's going to put them at 13, which is fine. They draw a Captain Hook for turn, which isn't, like, super great for them. They really need these, like, lore advantageous dudes. But, so if they decide to do the Cusco, I can draw 2 cards with my guys, and then use one of my dudes. Yeah. So, here, I'm going to probably summon Rapunzel, heal Rapunzel, draw 2 cards. Could have attacked Cusco. No, I couldn't have because it would have killed it. So I'm going to use Baby Tank to out it. They both die, which is fine. Then I can use Surfer Stitch to out the Hans. And then from here we can quest with Rapunzel. I can then play Hans. and then ink a beast, and then pass to just put a little more pressure. So if he top decks like Cusco's or Han's like a gajillion turns in a row, that's realistically the only way we're going to lose. Other than that, we should just be in a great position to just hold card advantage and then just like snowball from there. The steel and yellow cards really, really work together. They're the most like cohesive strategy as of right now, in my personal opinion, just because of how well the cards work. Like red purple's fine, but sometimes it's clunky. This deck just always feels like it's cooking. So it's one of the best decks right now. I've been testing the yellow blue deck. Nothing super crazy with that deck. Um, it's solid if you play it right. I was testing a very bad build of it, so it wasn't really doing well. But it's kind of taking a long time. I wonder if he's going to go AFK just because like we're so ahead of them in card advantage that he might just like leave. But he quests, and here we can just do Beer Guest, draw Rapunzel, which is crazy. So we can just play the Rapunzel, draw 3 cards, and then we're so ahead. He's already lost. We can ink the Beast. We can quest for 7, so that's gonna put us at 10. And unfortunately, we're like 1 away from just being able to like win the game. So we're just gonna add back the Stitch. And then he draws for turn, puts him at 2 cards in hand. I think my window's open, so I'm gonna close that window here. I think you guys can hear the car noise. Baby Simba's and plays a Beast Mirror? That's kind of crazy. Draws a card. Yeah, and then I just win. I guess you can't do anything here. Yeah, and then we just quest out. And then it puts us at 19. And then we can just discard the last card in his hand. So we can't just ink it. So he's going to have to like draw a card and then use that card and then... Especially if this is a Cusco. That'd be kind of crazy. Let's see real quick. I think it was a Flynn or a Tinkerbell. But I guess we'll play Hades. Hades will add back a Aerial, whatever, for grab your swords. And then pass. So even if he does top deck something, like we could just Aerial into grab your swords and then we have the smash. So yeah, and he just emits defeat. So we'll head on into another gameplay here. Gonna probably have a couple of games just to try to pump out as many games as possible for you guys just to see how well this deck actually does. I've been testing yellow-red along with the yellow-blue deck because I really think that yellow is just like the best color in the game right now. Like Rapunzel is just a stupid card. So we'll probably keep Hades. I just like the card. And Ariel and Bear Guest will be our 2 and 3 drops. So we're hoping for like a 1 drop. And there we go. We got a 1, 2, 3. And then we even got a 4 and a 5, which is really solid. So you can probably start off by, I guess, inking the smash. And then play Captain Hook and pass. Because, like, it's unfortunate that we went first in the sense that Beast is there. So we don't know if we need to keep the Beast. But as soon as they ink a card, we'll know if we need to keep the Beast or not. Because if they're not on red-purple, then Beast isn't important. But it looks like they are on red-purple. So it is good that we have the Beast and Hades. No, they're on... Wow, okay. So yeah, we definitely don't need this card. Like, maybe for the Magic Mirror, but I'd rather take my chances. Oh, there we go. Rapunzel go crazy. And we just pass. Like, hopefully, next turn, I draw an Inkable. Because I kind of want to keep my whole hand. So if we do draw an Inkable, we can play the Aerial. And if he starts questing, he just kind of loses. Because against, like, Steel Yellow, the first person to, like, really quest just kind of puts himself in such a terrible position that they aren't really able to, like, play the game. Especially with, like, a dude like him. But, draw Tinkerbell. I guess we get rid of it. It's what it is. We need to continue our plays because You Are Forgotten Me is going to be a good tempo play. We do get a card, so that's fine. And then we just pass. Because next turn, we're going to hope that they quest the Flounder or do something with the Flounder so that our Ariel can come in, whack it for 2, beat it up, and then Rapunzel can come down and draw us 2 cards. And then we'll just really be ahead in the game from there, and it can't be over. Like, even though he does have 5. Okay, so that makes up for a little bit. Like, the fact that he drew 2 cards here is very, very good for his tempo. We'll keep him in the game because he'll have 8 cards. And he quests him. Oh, Very, very smart. So we only did that guy, which means this play on this turn will be Captain Hook into him, just to deal that. And we'll play You Have Forgotten Me, just to give rid of 2 cards from him. Like, it essentially counters that Friends on the other side that he had. But it's a little bit worse just because of the fact that like he chose what cards. I don't think he has any rush guys, so might as well play Be Our Guest to potentially get a good card down the road. I guess Beast, just because it's inkable. This deck could also be playing Eyeball, so being able to get rid of Eyeball is pretty solid. But he's smart, so he played it on the Rapunzel, which is solid. So I like that because that gives me good quality test playing. And I'd rather have that than like just bozos that like don't know how to play. Zeus, wow, that's kind of crazy. I was not expecting that. So we can just ink the beast. And then we can play Grab Your Sword. It's nice +1 here. So we'll both be at 3 cards. And then pass. So he's going to draw for turn. We'll ink a card to go in his inkwell. So it's still going to be at 3. Ink Let It Go, which is fine. Because my Hades is going to be a +1. Yeah, so Rafiki, that's not really a good drop for him. Draw Surfer Stitch, which is like, okay. Gonna grab probably the Captain Hook because I need it to be ink this turn. And I'd rather have the Ariel in the grave. And then we're just gonna pass here. So we're at the same cards, but he has to ink. So I'm actually +1 on him, which is nice. If he decides to quest the Rafiki, he'll deal with the Hades, which isn't too terrible. Yeah. Grab Your Swords is okay here. We could just be patient. Probably ink the Smash. But I kind of want the guy on the field. Yeah. So we're just going to pass. Like, we really don't care about questing advantage here. We're worried about more like a real card advantage. So he inks an Aurora. So 2 of them are down, which is kind of wild. If he summons as a big Hades here, that'd be kind of wild. Yeah. So he puts in the inkwell. Kind of sucks. So we might have to start playing the game with Surfer Stitch. Or we just like draw him, which is wild. And we can just get free Ariel. And then Ariel hopefully grabs us a song, and it does. Nice Grab Your Swords. And then we'll just pass, because it puts him on you have to deal with one of my guys, which like isn't too bad. Like he could just have another Hades and deal with one of my guys. But if he deals with one of them, yeah. So, whoa. Not putting the Hades into the inkwell. Very interesting. I would have definitely done him, just because of the like amount of pressure that it puts. Just having both them. I guess we can play Be Our Guest. Surfer Stitch is kind of cool. Like, we can just start playing, like, Surfer Stitch Beatdown, which isn't bad. Then we'll, like, Hades trade. Because, like, he can quest for 4 next turn, which is kind of rough. Putting him at 12-0. We can grab your swords. We can deal with 1 Hades. If he has a 3rd Hades... Okay, I was going to say, that would be absolutely bonkers and stupid, having a 3rd Hades. But no, now we're in such a great position because we can regular play, grab your swords, deal 2 damage. Our Surfer Stitch can whack into one of the Hades to beat it up. So that then our Rapunzel can come down, target it, and then we can draw 3 cards. So we have decent advantage here. Then from here we can play Kuna Matata, play a hook, and then just pass. He's going to quest for 5, which will put him at 17, which really, really puts us in a kind of a pickle. Just because of the fact that he can just top deck things. Wow, that's pretty decent. But if he decides to quest both, he'll end up losing his whole field. Yeah, so he's going to lose his field except Aurora. The draw of that's really good. So we can do Surfer Stitch, draw 2, Hans. So we can ink that. Play a Hans. Now we can Rapunzel, Hook, Surfer Stitch. and then pass. Kind of just hoping he starts to top deck not great, because he's been top decking pretty decent for the past couple turns. If he top decks an eyeball here, that's a complete sack. A bell is also kind of wild. I don't think we can deal with the bell, unfortunately. Yeah, I think that bell top deck was just game. Yeah, and he quests the... Like, unless we... Ooh? Wait a minute, that was insane. So we can play Tinkerbell, deal 1 damage. Then we can go Surfer Stitch into the Aurora. Then from here we can Hans, deal a damage. We can cast, grab your swords. Then we can play a Hans, so we can deal with any 2-drop, or like the 1-drop that has 2. And then we'll pass, because we quest for 12 next turn. So let's say he top decks like a Let It Go or something. Oh, jeez, that was stupid. He top decked so many good cards in a row. We just could not deal with it. That was just a series of unfortunate events for us. That kind of sucks. Like, we were put behind the 8 ball a little bit, but just the mere fact that he constantly just kept, like obviously we top decked the Tinkerbell last turn and that kept us in the game. But, damn, that's unfortunate. The Ursula really go crazy. He couldn't have just top decked like any other card in his deck. Like, I think a Bell would have made him win too. So there was a lot of top decks he could have had, but... Wow, these bombs! Absolute sack city here. But that's okay. We'll just go on to the next game. But sometimes the game's like that. Like, you can have all the card advantage in the world and use like their you can use their lore to like your advantage to maintain card advantage, and then you can just like lose to like top decking 2 blue Hades in a row and an Aurora and like stupid stuff like that. So it is what it is. New game, gotta focus on that. We'll get rid of all this. We'll keep the Aurora 2-drop, keep a Hades. Don't have a 1-drop, but that's okay. We'll give rid of Be Our Guest and we'll pass. Hakuna Matata. Probably the Steel Song deck, which is cool. So we can just get rid of this. Play Be Our Guest. Nice free card. Get us a Rapunzel. That card's just the best card in the game. We'll pass. Next turn we can drop our Baby Tank. Cerberus, that card's like kind of booty. The big Simba is a little bit better into the red-purple matchup. But not many people like, see that right now. Link a Tinkerbell. We'll play a Tinkerbell. And we'll pass. So if he's bad, he'll quest. And then he'll like lose. Which is like fine. But if he's good, he'll just like sit on nothing. So he inks a Eric. Don't really need that. Smart play. Play a Baby Tank. And he quests! That's wild. I guess we'll get rid of Hans. And then we'll play... Yeah, we'll just play that. And then we're not going to quest because we don't want to play into his Rapunzel. And we want to whittle his card advantage down. And we'll just pass. So he inks, so we're +1 on him, which is fine. Especially for the fact that I think he went second. So we got the extra card. So that's really nice for us. Maybe he just keeps questing just the Eric. Nope, he quests the Tinkerbell. So he just does not know how to play this matchup. Which is fine. We draw Hans for turn. We'll just ink that. So that's both my Hans gone. We'll whack the Tinkerbell. To that. We will heal it up. Draw 2. We'll just pass. Like if she ends up summoning like the big tank and like whacks over, I'm completely fine with that. Or summons his Rapunzel, draws 2, so that's okay. Quest for 1, 2, kind of interesting. Play inks a Surfer Stitch. So here, yeah, I'll just ink the Tinkerbell. Because we're gonna play the Rapunzel. So we're probably just gonna. This is weird. We can be greedy and we can just deal with the Eric, or we can just attack into the Tinkerbell again, and we'll attack into the Tinkerbell. I want more draws. And we'll draw 2 more cards. Good Metal is pretty solid. And then yeah, I'll quest that. Get the ball rolling. So I got 6 cards in my hand. 2 there, 5. So I'm still +1. Big Tinkerbell's decent here. Oh, she just hard plays big. No, she doesn't. Okay. She can attack, deal with that, do 2 damage to something. Which, if she does 2 damage to the interesting, and then deals with that, which is pretty good. Yeah, so that was a decent sequence of events for them. Our Rapunzel can end up dealing with the Eric and still live, which is fine. So that can be a nice +1. Hades can then add back our Rapunzel. Unfortunate, we're on turn. Oh, that's actually fine. We can just. Yeah, I guess do a nice follow-up play. Add the Rapunzel. And then we will deal with the Tinkerbell. And we'll pass. So it forces them, you have to deal with this Rapunzel somehow, or my other Rapunzel is going to come down and draw 3 cards. Which is not terrible. Like, okay, and that deals with the whole board, which is fine. But it kind of, like, puts them back from plays, which I'm okay with. Like, they're questing for a lot, which is unfortunate. But, like, being advantageous with the You Have Forgotten Me's discarding their hands, like, we might be able to make some tempo. Like, we can... This is rough. We can ink him. Playing Rapunzel doesn't really do much. Yeah, might as well. Just discard the last card in hand. Put him on top deck mode. Surfer Stitch. Wow, that was a big hit. Because they top deck it inkable and they would have been able to draw 2, so that helped save us. It's going to put them at 13, which next turn they're going to be at 17. That's not fun. Yeah, I think I end up losing this just because he quests. Oh my god, another 2! That is so stupid. I just can't do anything about that. Okay. So here, we have to think. So we have to figure out how to deal with the Rapunzel. We have to deal with, like, all of his guys except Hans. And the only way I think we can do that is if we... So we... Bjergast, grab for a tank, deals with Eric, deals with Rapunzel, and then he still wins. So here we're probably going to need... Yeah, I think we just lose. Doesn't even matter. It sucks. We're just always so up on card advantage. But, yeah. It really does suck. Yeah, that's dumb, yeah. We'll just go on to the next game. Wow, that was freaking Hans top deck, absolutely stupid. Because like if that was anything else, we might have been able to like draw out of it. Like obviously we would have had to like play for the big tank and stuff like that, but this this sucks. The opponents like this is why I just don't like playing on Pixelborn. Pixelborn's just rough sometimes. Like I'm probably misplaying, and this is probably why like I'm testing. But like I play in person, I'm just cooking people. I go on Pixelborn and I play against like absolute dog water people, and then they just like sack me into oblivion, and it's wild. And this is like look at this. Yeah. Oh, I won't beat this deck. Yeah, we're fine. Anytime it has green, we'll beat it. Yeah, we don't need beast. Rapunzel? Hades. Hans. Hans is okay versus green. We'll keep him. We also need an Inkable too. So they got a couple of cards. Nice, I think 8 or something. Yeah, because I didn't play anything last turn. So we'll see how far this gets them. Well, taking a while. The thing, it's only turn 2. I wonder how many plays they got. So I appreciate you guys watching though. If you guys make it to this far in the video, you get to see all the freaking ranting I'm doing about Pixelborn sackers. Wild. Flynn Rider, that's kind of crazy. But I'm trying to get to 100 subs. So if you guys could subscribe, that'd be kind of cool. I'd appreciate it a lot. I know it's kind of far in the video, and not many of you guys would see it, but I would very much appreciate it. Trying to post some decent gameplay content. I'm not the greatest player, but I'm good enough that I can win locals and top decent events. But the genie's kind of wild here. Oh, it's a green purple. Yeah, this deck just gets completely stomped by Big Tank, especially here. Like I just ink Hans. I summons Big Tank, I whack into Genie, and then I beat the Maleficent. I just like wiped his whole board for free. Which is pretty decent. He's still +1 though. Well, it's actually going to be +2 after he draws. It's kind of crazy. I'll do a quick check on my grave. Yeah, Hades aren't doing anything quite yet, so I kind of hope they can deal with this Tinkerbell. Like, I don't think these decks play Zeus, but some play Rafiki. So if they do play Rafiki out there, but he's probably just going to go for like a Hans. No, Rafiki, that's crazy. That's actually kind of great here. Draw Surface Stitch. I'll just give her the Hans. I don't see him being great later. Someone's Hades. I'll back Big Tank. Pass. So if I end up drawing an Inkable card here, I'm fine. If not, then I'll just get rid of the Surface Stitch because Tinkerbell does more stuff into the matchup than Surface Stitch. That might be a thing I need to figure out. I might need to just like value the Tinkerbell over Surface Stitch. Like draw 2 is really, really good, especially for me come from Yu-Gi-Oh mindset. But then again, like especially against these super aggro decks, I keep losing to like lore advantage. It doesn't matter here because I draw an Inkable, so I'm able to keep it, and we can play the Tinkerbell, ink the Hades, and pass. Next turn, when they ink the Mad Hatter, I'll probably just whack into it with the Hades, and then have them draw a card, which is whatever, and then I'll just like add back the Hades with the Hades, which is pretty decent. Depending on, I guess, their play. Like if they summon a weak guy, which they really shouldn't because of Tinkerbell, probably just getting some play Cusco or something. But Mad Hatter's like really good. The fact that he's inkable just puts him in like a different tier of him being good. If he wasn't inkable like Cusco, he wouldn't be nearly as good. But like being inkable is a really, really strong suit for a card. That's the only reason why Hades is like iffy sometimes, just because he's not inkable. But Hades is like just overall solid. Hans is fine, so that's pretty good. We can deal the 2 damage to that. If we wanted to, we could be like uber greedy. And like we could play Grab Your Swords. Then we could attack. He'll draw a card, which is like fine. But then the Tinkerbell will just like deal with the Hans. So we'll end up like dealing with this board, put it back a turn, and then we'll quest 1 with the Hades. And then we'll be at like equal card advantage. Sucks that I don't have an Inkable for this turn, but next turn, if I draw an Inkable, I'll just summon Surfer Stitch and draw 2, and I'll be very far ahead in card advantage. Like, board present card advantage. Like, Surfer Stitch and Tinkerbell will do a lot on their own. Along with the Hades for the recovery is really, really solid. Like, even though he has more cards than me. My cards are just, like, superior at this point in the game. But, like, it's this matchup. I don't need to worry about this matchup. Like, this deck will just beat this matchup, like, 90% of the time. It's really the mirror match / like, red-purple I have to test on. So that's fine. Cheshire Cat's kind of cool. We can go... and we'll just play Hades. On back Baby Tink. We will... Ooh. No. Yeah, we'll ink the Baby Tink. And then we'll quest and pass. Because our big Tink can decently do stuff next turn. Yeah, not really. Big Tink's not really doing much. It's more of like a decent follow-up play. Like, if we go Big Tink, we can grab your shorts later and then deal with, like, the whole board. But I don't know if that's, like, the best play. Because we're not really too far behind in lore count, so we don't really have to, like, start killing their guys. We could just start potentially racing them. There's a lot of different things we can do here. But Cheshire Cat's kind of annoying, just because, like, I don't want my Tinkerbells fighting into it. And if I had another Hades in the hand, it would be a perfect situation for, like, Hades to whack into it, and then Hades grab back, but I was greedy and added back a inkable card. Which is, like, whatever. Might be a small misstep, and might be correct to play a little slower, but, like, Mother's fine. Mother's not super great, so it doesn't matter. Draw Hook for turn. We'll just ink that. Might have been correct to summon him first, and try to draw for, like, a Kun Matata or something. But, no, that card's really good, though. We'll whack. We're fine. Like, having a Hades in the graveyard's, like, really, really good anyway. So, and then we'll just pass. Because, like, Mothers can prevent, like, questing next turn. Which is a little rough. Like, we'll probably just play Grab Your Swords, and then Stitch attack into it. Wow, okay. He gains Reckless, which is kind of cool. Prevent him from questing, Stitch goes into it. So we draw Eric. We'll just quest that. No big deal. Might as well. Grab Your Swords. Stitch Whack. We'll make him discard too. Yeah, that was probably the best sequencing of plays I could probably do. And then I can just quest with the Hades, which is nice. Because he's going to be at like 3 cards to my 4. And one's a Tinkerbell, which is really solid. Long John Silver can be dealt with by the Hades next turn. So the Stitch can freely do stuff. Maleficent's really good here for him. Get him a nice free card. Play Cheshire Cat. That's kind of wild. You can quest him and give one of my guys Reckless, so we can like force my Surfer Stitch to attack, which is kind of like poopy. So I can't quest with them next turn. Yeah. Beast is like a fine draw. Might just keep it because I don't want to go neg. Play Tinkerbell. Deal with all that. Then Hades will just deal with the John Silver. And that's probably it. Because if he quests the Maleficent, then Cheshire Cat dies. And if he quests Cheshire Cat, they both die, but like he can't quest the Maleficent. So which is fine, so I'll put him at 12. Beast might come down following turns, depending on my top decks. I didn't want to get rid of him because I'd rather have cards than not have cards. Wow, another John Silver. That's kind of like, wow. It might just be right, too, if he quests. Yeah, so we quest the cat, which is fine. We can draw 3. That was a great top deck. We kind of just sacked him there. Which it is what it is. Then we can ink that. We can play Beast. We can play Captain Hook. We can deal with the cat. And then Tinkerbell can deal with the Maleficent. And then my Surfer Stitch can put me up to 7, and then we'll pass. So I'll be at 14 next turn, and he'll also be at 14 next turn. But it'll prevent one of my guys from questing, which is fine. Wow, Genie. Puts Beast back to him. That's good. So the evasive genie kind of is going to go crazy though, which is really unfortunate. Surface Stitch is really good here. I just draw 2. Yep. Nice, great play for next turn. Might as well play an Eric. And then probably do that, just because I can play both next turn. I'll have 5 damage on me, which is fine. A genie is going to go crazy if I'm not able to out it. I'm going to need more grab your swords, but I think I already went through 2. Yeah, I haven't went through any smash, so there should be a bunch of smash still on the deck. So I have 6 out of 32 cards that I can draw that could potentially start to out it. But even with the Tinkerbells, I went through 2 Tinkerbells, so 8 out of 32. So I think it's like 1/4 of my deck. Yeah. So if I draw 4 cards next turn, which I should be able to see at least a card that can potentially deal with Genie. But it depends on what guy he puts on the field. So I'm at 7, so it'll put me at 14, which, like, he's on a 2-turn clock. But once again, it's kind of a situation of, like, is he going to top deck and sack me? Because it always gets spooky in that situation. And just having, like, the complete absolute nuts to just deal with what I put on the field. Genie! Oh my god! He puts back the Eric. Grab your swords is really good, though. Okay. That's great. So we can play the Rapunzel. Heal. Draw 2. Oh my god. Oh my lord. This is not good. I think I just lose. Like, I have grab your swords. But if I play that, and even if I draw smash, I just lose. So we're going to have to aerial for another grab your swords. That seems kind of wild. Yeah, that seems kind of crazy. But if we get it, we get it. If we don't, we just lose. Yeah, that's the only play. Nope, and we lose. 2 genies. Jesus Christ. He's just cooking today. Yeah, I can't even deal with 1. Because even if I summons a Tinkerbell, I'll only do 1 damage, and then the genie just goes like cooking. Damn, that sucks. And even if I quest, ugh, that is wild. Okay, well, that's gonna be the end of the video. I'm kind of a little pooped about that. It is what it is. So, hope you guys have a great day, and hope you enjoy watching. Have a wonderful evening, and subscribe if you would like to. Peace.